Hey everybody, look over here at the screen. Make sure your body is still and that you're ready to hear about cake. Okay, so one thing you need to know about me is that I love a good dessert. I love chocolate cake, I love vanilla cake or strawberry cake. Wait, I love all cakes. I love looking through the glass window of an oven and seeing a cake begin to rise as it bakes. Sometimes I get so excited and I can't stand the wait. There are lots of good things in life that we have to wait for. God's plans for our lives are always good. And sometimes we have to wait on God's plan. Let's say today's bottom line, wait on God's plan, together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait on God's plan. Joseph's circumstances weren't great. Remember, he was in prison, but God was with him. You can read in Genesis chapter 39 how the prison warden chose Joseph to be in charge of all the prisoners. This was because the Lord was with Joseph. While in prison, Joseph was joined by 2 other men who were the king's prisoners. One man was the cupbearer, and the other was the king's baker. One night, both men had dreams. Each man had his own dream with its own meaning. When Joseph saw them in the morning, he asked them why they looked worried. In Genesis chapter 40, verse 8, it says, "The 2 men answered, 'We both had dreams last night, but no one can explain the meaning of them to us.' Joseph said to them, 'God is the only one who can explain the meaning of dreams. So tell me your dreams.' The men shared their dreams, and Joseph explains both dreams. He tells the cupbearer, 'When you are free, remember me. Be kind to me. Tell the king about me so that I can get out of this prison.' 3 days later, it was the king's birthday, and he decided to throw a big party. Everything happened just like Joseph said it would. The cupbearer was back in his old position, working for the king, and the baker was killed. Joseph was hopeful that the cupbearer would remember him and tell the king about him, but he forgot all about Joseph. 2 years passed, and Joseph is still in prison. He was definitely having to wait on God's plan. That is way longer than waiting for a delicious cake to cook. 2 whole years. Let's say the bottom line. Wait on God's plan, together on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait on God's plan. He kept his eyes on God and not the situation. Some time passed, and the king had some strange dreams. No one knew what they meant. And suddenly, the cupbearer remembered Joseph and his ability to interpret dreams. So the cupbearer told the king about Joseph, and the king sent for Joseph at once. See, Pharaoh had already told this dream to the magicians of the land, but no one could explain its meaning. When the king asked Joseph if he could tell what the dreams meant, he gave credit to God and said God will interpret these dreams. This is twice now that Joseph shows how he honors God by giving God the credit for this sweet dream interpreting ability. Joseph explained that God was showing the king what was going to happen to Egypt. There would be 7 years of good crops and plenty to eat in all the land of Egypt. But after those 7 years, there will come 7 years of hunger. The people of Egypt will forget what it would be like to have enough food, and they would be starving. The king wanted to make sure this didn't happen to his country and his people. He decided to put Joseph in charge of all the land and the food in Egypt. Because Joseph was wise and God was with him, he was able to grow and save enough food for the people to avoid starvation during the 7 years where there wouldn't be enough food. God used Joseph to save a big part of the world from starving. Now that's an awesome part of God's plan. See you real soon.